Yes, another camera comparison. This time the Xiaomi 13 Ultra against the Galaxy S23 Ultra and the iPhone 14 Pro Max. So front-facing cameras here, we have 4K with the iPhone, 4K with the Samsung, but sadly with the 32 megapixel camera with the Xiaomi 13 Ultra, it is only 1080p. Now audio sources, I'm swapping over those. Right now there is barely any wind. There's just a little bit of a breeze around, so if we hear any wind noise coming through in the microphones, well, hopefully we shouldn't. It might be a bit here, but we'll find out soon enough. So I'm going to just jog ahead a little. This is testing the stabilization, which one you think looks the steadiest. I can see the front-facing camera of the Xiaomi already seems to be overexposing my skin, my face here a little bit with that sun in the background. It is struggling, so I'll swap over to the rear cameras now. Ultra wide, 4K, 30 frames per second. So there is a 50 megapixel camera with the Xiaomi. It has the highest megapixel count with its ultra wide camera, versus the other two being 12 megapixels. The Xiaomi can also shoot ultra-wide 8K, but only 24 frames per second, which to me looks a little bit choppy. I prefer 30. So with these three ultra-wide cameras here, what one looks the steadiest, you think here, as I just now pick up to a little bit of a jog going down these steps. And wind noise, there is going to be wind noise on all three, I think. But which one will handle it the best, because it's starting to get a little breezy here now. Down at the bottom and panning. Hopefully no panic judder coming through with any of these phones. Shouldn't be happening, not with expensive flagships like this. This is our zoom cameras now, so 10 times with the S23 Ultra, 5 times with the 13 Ultra from Xiaomi, and then the iPhone that can only do 3 times optical here. So they are all using optical image stabilization. Of course, at 10 times, any movement is amplified. I'm just going to walk a tiny little bit around, not much, just a few steps, testing out the stability. Main cameras now with all three of them, but this time it is 4K 60 frames per second. Now, we have with the Xiaomi the 8K, and with the Samsung 8K, but 30 frames per second. But of course, the iPhone does not shoot 8K. Now 60 frames per second, it should look a lot smoother with my movements as I move about here. I'm just going to walk around where these rocks are, hopefully not get my feet wet. That would be a bit of a disaster. Not slip into this. And which one looks the steadiest here now with 4K 60 with our main cameras. So 50 megapixels versus 200 megapixels versus 48 megapixels. In low light video now with our front facing cameras, and across all three they kind of look terrible. I don't like any of them here, but of course maybe one is slightly better than others here. We've got 4K 30 on of course the Apple and the Samsung, and then we do have just 1080p with the Xiaomi. So I'm stepping into an area here that has a bit of light source right there. Obviously that is going to look a lot better. You want to be shooting in very bright environments with the front-facing camera, not really low light areas. So I'm going to go over into the shade dark patch right now, and you can see there's a lot of noise and grain now with those front-facing cameras. Main cameras, 4K 30 frames per second, low light. So what about that really annoying lens flare that we get? It's the worst on the iPhone, and I think this explains a lot of those UFO videos that you sometimes see, or we used to see a long time ago, because look at that, look, oh, there's a whole line of these UFOs in the sky, look at them, they're moving about at amazing speeds. And you see that on the Xiaomi 13 Ultra, it is also quite a big problem there. Look at those lens flare effect there. But the Galaxy S23 Ultra is doing a really good job here with that. Doesn't seem to be as bad. Now, the stabilization, electronic image stabilization, as I walk ahead now, in low light does not look as good across all three of them compared to daylight. You can see the jolts as I was just walking right there and panning around. Hopefully no dropped frames. And to recap my findings here, I think the front-facing video quality is the iPhone, and 4K 60 iPhone wins there. But the stabilization with the ultra-wide, especially the Xiaomi, was very steady compared to the S23 Ultra and the iPhone, but then it suffered the worst from the wind noise. Front-facing portrait shots and the rear portrait shots, I think was the S23 Ultra. That was my pick, my favorite there. HDR Indoor Shots. So while I like the Leica Authentic, very good, very accurate looking colors from the Xiaomi, and not over sharpened like the other two, its HDR just failed here with the shot of the window. Now the ultra wide photos, the iPhone, actually this shot especially, was a lot better, the sky, so that won there. And then when it comes to low light, I think it was the S23 Ultra that overall seemed to be better, especially the way it handled the terrible lens flare we get, especially with the iPhone, and quite a bit of it too with the Xiaomi. So overall, what do you think here of my findings? Do you agree with me? Let me know in the comments, and I do hope to see you back in the next one. Bye for now.